Disclaimer. Please forgive me now for there may be mispronunciations in this video. Vampires, a creature of the night that sucks on the blood or energy of a living victim. Spoken about in almost every continent in the world, many have been said to have been vampires. Elizabeth Bathory, Vlad the Impaler, Baron Gilles, to name a few. Today we are learning about Arnold Piolet, one of the most famous 18th century vampire cases. Piolet was born in the early 1700s in Medvegia, north of Belgrade, in an area that was then part of the Austrian Empire. He served his time in the army in what was called Turkish Serbia, and returned home in 1727. He was a good, handsome, and honest man who was welcomed back by the townspeople, but did display a gloomy and fearful nature about him. He purchased several acres of land and began farming, becoming engaged to a young woman from a neighboring farm. One day, Piolet told his intendant about his war days and why he was so fearsome and gloomy. His regiment had been subjected to the nightly attacks of a vampire. Piolet joined some men to find and destroy the creature, but it was he who dug up the vampire from its grave. Before he could destroy the monster, it attacked him in its death throes. He killed the vampire, ate some of the dirt from its tomb, bathed his wounds in the blood of the vampire to cleanse himself of the effects of the attack. Now this wasn't a good idea, for disease, bacteria, and viruses can easily be transferable by blood entering a wound. A week later, Piolet was the victim of a fatal accident where he fell from a hay cart, and he was buried locally. Around 3 weeks after his burial, there were reports on the appearance of Piolet. 4 people who made these reports died, causing a panic to spread through the community. Community leaders decided to end the panic by disinterring the body to determine if Piolet was a vampire. On the 40th day after the burial, the grave was opened with the presence of 2 military surgeons. The body was found to look as if it had recently died. New skin was present under a layer of dead skin, and the nails had continued to grow. This could be a result of the skin shrinking, but as for the new skin under the dead, I am not quite sure of. There was fresh blood coming from the eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, and when the body was pierced, blood poured out. They judged him as a vampire. When they staked him with a white thorn stake, they heard him utter a groan. His head was severed and body burned. The 4 other people who died were treated similarly. In the same area in 1731, 7 years before a great bubonic plague occurs, about 16 people died of the symptoms of vampirism in the matter of 3 months. Unlike the last time, the people acted slowly, until one day a girl complained that a man named Milo had recently died, had attacked her in the middle of the night. News of the vampire plague reached the attention of the Austrian Imperial Army governing the region. A colonel lieutenant by the name of Snežer was the first to send an official doctor to investigate the area. His name was Glasser. He arrived December of 1731 when 13 people were known to have died. In his report, Glasser stated that he could not find any evidence of an epidemic and that illnesses such as fevers were merely the cause of deaths. In pursuit to calm the hysteria, the doctor dug up 10 of the bodies. Some had decomposed, but others had fresh blood pouring from their orifices on their faces, as if they had recently feasted. Villagers demanded that the vampires needed to be killed, leaving Glasser to write to his commander to ask for permission to execute the corpses. At this point, the imperial authorities sent a regimental surgeon, Johann Fleckinger, and his team to follow up on Glasser's investigation. These men had served as medics in the war against the Turks from 1714 to 1718 and were highly experienced with dealing with cadavers. When Fleckinger and his team arrived, according to his later report, 17 young and old people died, among them some who, with previous illness, died in 2 or at the most 3 days. Fleckinger exhumed all the bodies for inspection and dissection and would confirm Glasser's report that most of the corpses were covered in blood. It had come to say the vessels of the arteries and veins were not, as is usual, filled with coagulated blood, and the whole viscera, that is, the lung, liver, stomach, spleen, and intestines were quite fresh as they would be in a healthy person. Also that they had mysteriously died of an illness that lasted only 3 days. Milo, who had died and turned 6 weeks prior to Fleckinger's visit, was believed to have strangled a young woman of 20 years old. She managed to survive the assault, only to die 3 days later of a terrible disease. Similar to the other bodies, when Fleckinger disinterred her 18 days later, fresh blood poured from her nose, and that her internal organs, skin, and nails were as though completely fresh. After the examinations were finished, the local gypsies beheaded the supposed vampires, burning them and throwing their ashes into the river. Fleckinger wrote a full report of his activities that he presented to the emperor early in 1732. His report was soon published and became a bestseller. Apparently it was translated into every language and would reach the hands of Bram Stoker, possibly inspiring his book Dracula. From reports regarding these so-called vampire epidemics had many explanations as to what may have occurred.
You were dead! I saw you die!
I was faking. I used ninja focus to slow my heart rate down.
What are you doing?
I'm burying you.
I'm alive! I'm alive!
You're waking the neighbors!
No.
Shut up!
One popular explanation was premature burial, which would explain why the corpses did not deteriorate. It is estimated by the amount of oxygen provided in a buried coffin, a person would live up to 5.5 hours. So a premature burial might not have been an explanation. If buried on the day the person is suspected to have died, and then truly died 5 hours later, the body would still decompose a little by the time they opened the coffins. But it all depends when they opened the coffins after the deaths. This is the same with the next explanation, that they were infected with catalepsy, which is a disease that makes the infected appear as if they were dead, which may have prompted premature burial. From what I can find, catalepsy is not contagious, and I can't see a group of people in the same area having the same symptoms of this rare disease. Others say it may be the soil or an unusual lack of moisture that may have slowed the decaying process. This can be true as the conditions of one's burial can cause certain decomposition levels. Some suggest that a plague may have been the true cause of the vampire epidemic, but other than in 1738 when the bubonic plague hit, I couldn't find any other plague affecting the area. I'm not saying there wasn't a plague, I just couldn't find any information on one. One of the diseases thought to have infected the vampires was rabies. It can be stated that doctors knew that there had been a plague of rabies in Serbia between the years 1721 and 1728. Rabies can cause people to bite, have animal characteristics, can cause anxiety and confusion, partial paralysis, agitation, hallucinations, and in its final phases, a symptom called hydrophobia or the fear of water. It can and will kill its victim if not treated. This could take from 10 days to 2 years. At one point, they blamed Paoli for infecting the cattle in the region, and upon their deaths, people ate their bodies and became infected. Cattle can shed the rabies virus in their saliva and can potentially infect other animals and humans. And lastly, porphyria may be another cause, which causes the infected to have a severe sensitivity to light. It's not contagious, and people with porphyria generally have a normal life expectancy, unless they have acute hepatic porphyria, at which they have an increased risk of developing high blood pressure, chronic kidney disease, and liver cancer. Porphyria doesn't cause a person to go out biting people. It doesn't cause aggression. And again, I highly doubt a group of people in the same area would have porphyria. I like to bring up another disease, meningitis. It can kill in below 3 days, and people with the disease become sensitive to light, have body aches, fever, stiff neck, and the energy level is compromised. There may also be a purple rash, but this does not always occur. Meningitis is an old disease going back to ancient Greece, but the first outbreak that we know about was recorded in Geneva in 1805. I'm not saying that this is what caused the vampire epidemic, I just wanted to add it in as another possibility. Science can now inform that as a corpse rots away, it is normal for the diseased lungs to become filled with blood. The brain also liquefies, and from what one website says, it is customary for those suspected of being vampires to be buried face down, causing the brain to easily ooze through the facial orifices. I don't think all the bodies were buried face down, since they didn't think at first that they were vampires until a little later. Also, for the groan from the bodies that were staked is thought to have resulted in the air leaving the corpse. Science also knows now that if a corpse is interred 8 feet underground in a near freezing temperatures, as it would have been in Serbia, the body takes much more time to decompose. Surely someone who was experienced as Fleckinger would have ruled out a rabies plague, but he had nothing else to go on except for vampirism. What do you think? Did you like this video? Want to support this channel and get early access? Check out my Patreon page where I create content on cryptids, hauntings, serial killers, alien abductions, and much more. Can't support me there? Like, comment, and subscribe here.